one day one succulent. Today I'm sharing about this succulent. Have a look. You may say, what is it? Let's have a look closer. This is commonly called tiger's jaw succulents. It's one type of mesemsbryanthemum, shortly called mesems, and it belongs to the Aizocaea family. When people talk about mesems, the first plant I'm sure coming into your mind would be lycalled, commonly called leafstone, but this is definitely an exception, even though it's the same family. Have a look. Tiger's jaw, it got its name because the foliage, the leaves, you can see there are like the teeth of a tiger, and people also say, oh, they look like a sax teeth too. Yes, they both. Some people also call it like a sax jaw succulents, but most commonly it's called tiger's jaw succulents. It's native to South Africa. In the wild, it grows in the really rocky area. Like half gravel and half soil is the best for this tiger's jaw, or even more, like 60% for gravels and then 40% soil. That's ideal for her to grow. There's some yellowy thing. That's the dead flower. What happened to it is like the flowering season is quite long. It's really exotic, and it's kind of like a dandelion flower, daisy shape flower. Is most of the flowers are yellow, but sometimes you will see white one, and sometimes you will also see some like a pinkish one, but it's quite rare to see the other colors. Its flower season normally is from like fall to early spring, and that's actually the dormant season of them. That's interesting, isn't it? In the summertime, actually from spring to fall, this is the growing season. They kind of water it just like you water regularly succulents, maybe once a month during the growing season, and during the dormant time, like maybe once every 2 months. That will be enough. Like I said, it's from South Africa. Definitely it's not hardy, but I do recommend you to take it back in because they are really like sensitive. Personally, for me, like this is my 4th or the 5th tiger's jaw succulents. I killed 4 or 5 before, and today I'm trying to do the repotting again because that's the end of I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it's the end of spring, because in Wisconsin we haven't really got spring this year. It's so weird. I don't know, it's global warming or climate change. You see, today is kind of like a cloudy day. It just make me sad. I'm like a succulent now. It's like, I want sunshine. Maybe I'm a sunflower too. Okay, and you may say, when do you repot your succulents? There are 2 hints you would do the repotting. When you plant this plant for over 2 years in a pot, that's a good time to change the soil. And another thing is the plant overgrow the planter. That means I need more space, and give them more space, they will grow better. Like I mentioned in the last video, I always like to use this light shade, and then I will take out and show you every details in this planter what's going on. I see, for this guy, the propagation, there are 2 ways. One way is from the offspring, the cutting, and the other way is the seeds. But it's on the condition you grow it outside, it got fully pollinated. And last summer, this guy was growing in my bubble greenhouse. I saw a hummingbird. Oh, it was so cute. The way for me is just take all the things out. I water it before I propagate it, because if you water it and let it get water fully absorbed, and it's healthier, even if you plant in a new planter, for the first 7 to 10 days, you do not water it, because it will cause problem. So that's why I water it beforehand. And when I take the things out, you see the soil is kind of loose. A lot of tiny little roots growing. You don't need to worry about these tiny little roots. And you can also see, like, I put the big pieces of lava rocks in. That's all I have. And at the bottom, I will repeat about the light shade. You see the bottom here, there is a big hole, and I use this type of guided method to put it in. And then after I take the thing out, and I will go through and get rid of these dead leaves. Take the dead leaves off. Like I always say, the dead leaves is a place for the insects, for the bugs to hide themselves and also lay their eggs in. And then they will eventually just, grow their babies in the dead leaves. During the growing season, it is the best for you to do any propagation and the repotting. When they are going dormant, don't do that. This guy, it actually loves sun. That's the funny thing about it. In the flower wouldn't open until like noon, because that time of day it has really good sunlight. And then for a few hours, 3-4 hours later, it just closes itself. The flowers would close and say, okay, I'm done. So a good sunlight, like at least 4 hours is necessary. But don't expose it right under direct sun. Even as a human being, if we are under direct sun, we'll get sunburned. There are a few succulents that they do enjoy like a direct sun, but not everyone. I will take off all the soil. If you want to fertilize it now, yeah, do it. And for example, there are many. One I'm like taking the soil, the things off. You see, there is one piece fall off, and I will just let it sit for at least 1 day, or even better 2 days, and then replant them. I always prepare a piece of paper towel because it's dry, and then you can just put the plants onto the paper towel, let it sit, and then it's good, and it doesn't make mess either. And when I'm dealing with that, you see this one is kind of like, you broke me. That's okay. I didn't do it on purpose, but no matter what, I will take it off. Like here, I will let it fully callus too, and then repot them. Actually this time I want to propagate some. Like I said, one way is by the seeds. I'm not 100% sure for my situation I can produce some new growth from the seeds, because even though I grow it outdoor in the tent with some pollinators, I don't think it's good enough yet. And since the flowers are done, I will just take them off. Some of the succulents, the flower they are not so attractive, and they take a lot of energy from the mother plant. Cut the stalk off from the bottom, direct the stalk fully callus, and then plug it into, just keeps blooming, but it wouldn't take any energy from the mother plants. And the mother plants can just use the energy to grow itself instead of support the flower. I will make a video about it. Let me see which is flowering, and then I will show you how it works. Okay, and this one, I will take some pieces off, like the offspring, so make it not so dense, but it will grow dense again. From the place I taken this guy off, it will have the new grow. And you may say, wait, how big that plant would grow? It wouldn't grow really tall, which is like let's see, 3 inches, which is 7.5 centimeters. That's the height it will grow. It can grow quite wide, which is like 12 inches, 30 centimeters across. If you don't separate it, for example, if I don't do anything, if I give it a bigger pot, it will just keep growing like wetter and wetter. It's not the rosette will grow bigger. No, the rosette would just keep to be the shape or the size of where they are. I will take, okay, this is a baby one growing from the bottom of this leaf, and I will take it. Look. And it doesn't really propagate well from the leaf, but I always want to experiment. So I will take a couple of bottom leaves and see whether actually if they work or not. You need really careful with taking the bottom leaves. No matter with this plant or any other succulents, you really want to take the bottom whole piece. So in that situation, it's healthy enough possibility of growing, of propagation, of propagating. Okay, this is good. I don't want overtake. I want the mother plant to be pretty as it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and also like a few leaves. Oh, I can take one more because look at this guy here. There is one offside growing from the bottom leaf. I can definitely take that off. One more. Yay, I lucked out. That means I can actually have more of that plant. Ooh. Yay. I take the offside grow from the bottom leaves, and that's the part you can. But you can also just cut one piece, and then it can actually grow roots eventually too. And people say, do you want to replace the soil or not? I don't have to replace the soil because I have confidence in the soil. What I did is I did put some like eggshells, and I also put some coffee grounds inside, and I watered it with banana peels, like organic fertilizer. So the soil is still quite rich, and so I say, okay, I'm good. So what I will do is just mix them together and let it go back. You know, that's good for the succulents itself. You know, it going back to the original soil, so it's not going through a big shock. Is there anything I forgot to mention about this succulent? So watering, regular watering like succulents once a month during growing season, and of course it depends on where you live, and it depends on you grow it indoor or outdoor. I grow summertime, I grow them outdoor, and if I put in the tent, and I water them twice a month, because the tent is the greenhouse, the bubble is quite hot. But if you put it under the eave of your building, and then it's not super hot, not direct sun, it works. And then now I just put them back, the soil back. I could add more gravels, but I'm being lazy. So I would just say, okay, that's all. And the soil go back. Hey, soil go back. We do the repotting, for example, it's the same soil, you do the repotting is also good, because sometimes you feel like after a certain time, the soil kind of like become a dough. It's not really a dough, it's not sticky, but they stuck together. It's not good for the roots to breathe. So in that situation, you can kind of like do loose the soil and then get it repotted that way too. I always wear gloves. Look, like I said, it's not only good for our hands, it's also good for your plants. Just in case you deal with some other plants, if it has like any bugs or various bacteria, you can just take off the gloves and then change a new pair, so it can protect your plants. Well, thank you for watching my video, and hope whatever I share is helpful to you. And if you like, please give us a thumb up and share with others. Bye for now.